This is the Barbados Today evening news for Friday, June 16. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Jepter Ince, is describing the local business community as parasites. Delivering the weekly Astor B. Watts lecture this afternoon, Ince charged that the private sector is criticizing this year's budget because they are unwilling to pay their fair share. The business community is predicting serious consequences as a result of the austerity measures presented by Finance Minister Chris Sinclair last month, but Ince suggested that they should stop complaining.
I have said before, and I have said again, and I want this written as Jepter Ince said, the private sector of Barbados is an extension of the public service, a parasitic plant in the bosom of government. We had some molasses tanks in the port, leaking, deteriorated, and myself and the Minister of Finance met with the Rum Producers Association or the private sector of this country to repair those tanks. And we asked them for $5 million in contributions. And that $5 million could not be found. And it cost this government, the Minister of Agriculture, $24 million to put those tanks back in the port and save our rum industry.
President of the Barbados Renewable Energy Association, Aidan Rogers, wants the tourism sector to pay more in value-added tax. Rogers put forward the idea at a meeting of renewable energy sector officials at UN House this morning. He blames operators in that sector for contributing to the high costs associated with fossil fuel imports. Right now, the tourism industry pays 7.5% VAT and is said to be responsible for about 15% of the island's electricity consumption.
It is no secret that the hotel sector pays half of the effective VAT rate in this country, and they've done so for in excess of at least 6 or 7 years. We are in a fiscal crisis. As recent as the interim draft of the National Sustainable Energy Policy, the consultant tasked with preparing that draft identified that the Barbadian hotel sector, which is just in excess of 100 hotels, at best maybe 120 customers out of Barbados, like Power's 26,000 customer base, accounts for 15% of the island's national electricity consumption. I would stand to be corrected by Mr. Blackman here. He would know the figures. But 15%, if you had to look at the aggregate percentage of our fuel import bill for electricity generation, what that translated to, I'm sure even with our low oil prices now, it probably would be in excess of 10, maybe 15 million.
Meanwhile, Commerce Minister Don Villinis says he is not in favor of the renewable energy sector paying the controversial National Social Responsibility Levy. During the budget debate, Ince criticized the measures, saying he could not give the fiscal package his full 100% support. Today, he said the energy sector should be exempt from the 10% levy, which will take effect on July 1st.
With respect to the National Social Responsibility Levy, I think we all understand why these things have to be done. But at the same time, it's not the intention of the Ministry of Finance or the government on the whole to do any harm to the key sectors such as this. We cannot say on one hand that we want to develop and sustain a renewable energy sector and then impose onerous conditions on it that prohibits the growth of the sector. My own analysis of it, and wearing a semi-technical hat on tax matters, is that the renewable energy sector can be seen on one hand as a manufacturing sector, and therefore the National Social Responsibility Levy should not apply because it's an input cost that you're attributing to it. And on the other hand, or related to that, is that it's a unique service that the state recognizes will save foreign exchange and also help to earn some foreign exchange indirectly.
And it's time now for Barbados Today's weekly Pulse of the People. And this week, the focus is on the St. Michael North constituency of opposition leader Mia Motley. The majority of the constituents surveyed gave Motley their assurance that she will get their vote when the election bell is rung.
The Honorable Mia Motley.
Why?
Because she's well educated, she knows what she's about. She's been in Parliament for many years, and I think if feminist woman she'll rule the country, and and I'm all ready to give her my vote.
The Honorable Mayor Amar Motley.
Why?
Because she's well educated, she is a down-to-earth woman, and she is also concerned about her community and Barbados in what? In general.
She would still be the person that could in this area. Like.
Daniel Richmond, that professor from Columbia Law University, they have not gotten that memo yet. They're open to issuing subpoenas for that. So it's showing a new area.
That's my view. And everybody in this house could for it for sure.
My personal choice, and at this point in time, in terms of representative, is Mayor Motley. Even if I didn't favor the BLP, I would still vote for her in terms of her stature as a candidate. I mean, if you look and see, she has been towering above all the other candidates in the country as far as they're concerned.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Morning, Miss Oya.
Morning. You again. So you're washing cars now? Well, I can't keep up with you at all.
Yes, girl. You know they're going to provision to selling slow. And I don't sell nation newspapers at all because them don't sell. So I washing cars now. I like to get up before 8:30 because I can't take the hot sun. You want the car wash?
No, not today. It clean.
But you're going in very early though?
Yeah, I just going early so I can read the Barbados Today online before work starts.
Right. But you can still let me clean the vendor for the $2. At least it's still cheaper than the nation newspaper.
All right.
I got a special boo here that I got it shiny. Thank you. Enjoy your day here.
You too.
All right. What that paper is? She can see clearly when the dirt is gone.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. Grenada's Minister of Legal Affairs, Elvin Nimrod, is seeking to have the court cases expedited. Addressing Parliament, Nimrod admitted that a staff shortage is contributing to the backlog of cases.
When you have those situations existing, justice could never be efficient. First of all, the possibility of witnesses disappearing, or litigants as well, or records as well. It means that it will be very difficult for the litigants to get the matter heard in a fair way. And so, Mr. Speaker, the government, this government, felt very much obliged to actually remedy that situation. Mr. Speaker, one of the contributing factors to this is inadequate justices for the court.
And finally, protests in London as anger grows over the Grenfell Tower fire earlier this week. An estimated 60 people stormed Kensington and Chelsea Town Hall as members of the public said the homeless need help immediately. We get more in this Reuters report.
The death toll from London's deadly Grenfell Tower blaze rising again.
So I know at this point in time there are at least 30 people that have died in this fire. The very nature of the intense fire that has occurred within Grenfell Tower.
No, it's a lot more than 30 people.
And I do believe that the number will increase.
Grief mixing with anger. A Justice for Grenfell movement demanding answers about the cause of the blaze. Protesters storming the town hall in Kensington, where Grenfell's located, on Friday. Theresa May increasingly a focal point for that wrath. Criticised for failing to meet homeless former residents when she visited the site of the disaster on Thursday. A visit Friday to the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital and the promise of a public inquiry, unlikely to assuage anger. A royal visit better received though, Britain's Queen Elizabeth and Prince William meeting members of the emergency services and affected locals. People here want answers to a number of questions. Did the cladding recently fitted to the building help spread the blaze? Questions too over whether local authority cuts and a lack of fire prevention measures contributed. The police pledging to figure out if there are criminal acts behind this disaster.
That's news this evening. Remember, there's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune into Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Mary Claire Williams. Have a good evening.